Hey there, Facebook. Hope you're all doing fantastically well. Welcome to the live show today. Hope you're all doing fantastically. We are a little late today. We're a little late. Do apologize. I know you guys have been messaging me, asking me where I am, but here I am. We're talking 5 ways to take control of your mind today. With a lot of all of this, right? Like, one of the most important things I find in business is the way that you think. And I've had multiple different conversations with various different types of people over the last 3 to 6 months, or ever since, and it's becoming a lot more prominent now as well with a lot of the stuff that's gone on in the world recently. A lot of people are stopping. A lot of people are holding themselves back. A lot of people aren't doing what's necessary. And a lot of what's necessary is controlling what's up here. So it's literally, when you look at the 80-20 rule and the whole concept and how it's came out, 80% is your mind and the way you think in business. 20% is the strategies, the tactics, the systems, the automations, and all this stuff that I talk about every single day. Every single day, 12 o'clock Perth Western Australia time, we're here live. We're talking to you about new strategies, new things, new ways to grow your business, new ways to be able to up-level your business in many different ways. However, the 80% is what people people get the 20%, they understand, they do the 20% and everything. However, the 80% is the way that you think, it's your language, it's the way that you interact with yourself, which will show the way that, it'll show you how far you push your business forward. Is the 20%, the strategies and everything is not what's going to move your business forward. It's the 80% that goes on in your mind that will enable you to stay where you are and you will not advance. So many times I'm speaking to people 6 months later, after I've given them strategies to move forward, they've taken no action, they've done nothing. Now, how is it that some businesses I can give this strategy to and they will make $100,000 in 1 month? Then I'll give the same strategies to another, and then 6 months later and they're in the same spot. All of this is down to this one thing in between these 2 ears. It's the mind, it's the way you think, it's the language that you use, it's how you speak to yourself, both consciously and unconsciously. Now, there's many different ways, techniques, things that you can do in order to up-level the way that you think, because there is a clear understanding as to why some people succeed with certain strategies that we give and then others don't. Okay? So I'm going to give you guys some real talk today as well, because there's so many, everything that I've spoken about on this page over the last 90 days will mean nothing to a very large percentage of people in business, because this one thing here between the ears and the way that they speak, the language they use for themselves, both unconsciously and consciously, is the area that's holding them back. So I want to just have some real talk with you guys today as well. Like and share this stream so that we can have a real man-to-man, man-to-woman talk about this and work out ways that you can up-level all of this in the way that you think. For many years, I used a lot of different language, and I'm going to give you some of that language that held me back as a business owner and didn't enable me to think in the way that was going to help me move forward faster. There was many different mentors that I met along the way, many different people, many different events, and there was some very clear things and that helped me along the way to be able to think differently. And there's still things that I'm consistently changing as well, because where there's a new level, there is a new devil. A new devil that does his best to keep you in the safe zone which is where you are right now. However, it's never safe because it's uncomfortable. What your mind determines to be safe is not safe. It is uncomfortable. It doesn't feel good. It's what makes us so hard on ourselves because we want to move forward, we want to progress, we want to do more, we want to be more, we want to become more. However, the mind wants to keep you where it's safe, which is never safe. Being broke is never safe. Not being able to move your business forward and being stuck in one area is never safe. And there's some clear language that does get used. There's some clear thought patterns, unconsciously and consciously, that are there, that have got to be shifted. And it's that mind shift that is going to enable you to move forward. And there's certain key people in your life that will come in that will help you shift that. So it is a mindset that you're in right now that is keeping you where you are. And it's a mind shift that you must have consistently, which is a conscious decision as well, to have that mind shift to move forward. It's the fear, it's the thoughts, it's the patterns that you've gone through in the past that have got to change. I am by far not an expert in this area. I'm going to give that to you up front. I'm not what we call a mindset, mind shift, transformational. I'm not your life coach. I'm not your any one of this. I'm just going to give you key distinctions which enabled me to think differently, to move myself forward out of past experiences, past thoughts, and past actions. The only way you can change it is through yourself. You are the only person that can change the results that you're getting right now. Other people can purely just be a guide. That's it. And it's the actions that you take which keeps you where you are. And I want to help you out to get out of all of this right now so that you can move forward and you can start taking the actions that are necessary in order to move forward. And I'm using the language of necessary because it is necessary to advance. It is necessary for you to earn more money. It is necessary for you to grow your knowledge. It is necessary for you to take control of your mind to move forward. A lot of the language that people use is, I'm going to try. That is going to keep you where you are. I don't know whether you've ever tried to walk before, but it is virtually impossible to try to walk because you either walk or you don't. The first thing everyone's using in their language right now is, I'm going to try. And first of all, if you're going to try something, you're setting yourself up to fail. Because you don't try to walk, you either walk or you don't walk. First of all, that's got to become completely eradicated out of your vocabulary. The first thing is try. Get rid of try. The second is, I need to think about it. I'm going to think this over. I'm confused, right? It is setting your mind up for failure. You do not need to think about something. You just need to do. You must do it. You do not need to think about it. Thinking about things is instantaneous, and I want you guys to join in with me right now. I want you to think about a pink elephant. Have you got that picture in your mind? Think about a pink elephant. It's in my mind right now. I've already thought of it. Now I want you to think of a purple elephant, right? I want you to think of a purple elephant. No doubt you've still got the same picture in your mind. I want you to think of something that's pink. I want you to think of something that is, I want you to think of a doona cover that is pink. A pink doona cover with a pink suitcase on a pink bed frame with pink walls, right? And pink curtains. I want you to think of yourself walking into a room that is pink. I want you to imagine walking in a room with a pink bed frame, pink doona cover, pink cases, pink wall, and pink curtains. So you're just walking into a pink house, right? This is the power of your mind right now. And when you say that, I'm confused, I want to think about it, right? You're setting yourself up for fail. You're setting yourself up for failure. However, you want to start thinking differently. You've got to start using your mind to think of things differently. These are the first things that are going to come out of your vocabulary. Your vocabulary is what's holding you back. So you've got to start looking at the dictionary and looking at other words you can use instead. The next one that you must eradicate out of your mind is but. But is a derogatory and also a very, very, it's within your mind. It is helping you second guess what it is that you're doing. Yes, I want to do it, but you're holding back your mind's thoughts. You're holding back your solutions within your mind that you can quite instantly access. You are just holding it back from being able to think in another level. So you've got to get rid of try. You must get rid of try. You must get rid of think about it. You must get rid of but completely out of your whole thought patterns. First of all, you got to be conscious when you're using it. Right? So these are all the things that you must have eradicated completely out of your whole vocabulary, and you got to start working on the way that you're speaking to yourself. Okay? It's like your words and your language speak everything to the way that you think, to the way that you speak, and to the way that you solve challenges. You got to start looking at things as instead of problems, you got to start looking at them as in, this is a challenge I'm having now. How can I overcome this? How can I be able to do this? You got to start asking yourself, how and where can I get this information? How can I get this information? This is the way that you must get your mind thinking. Because if you are trying to do things, or you're going, yes, but in your vocabulary, and you are trying to do things, you're butting yourself, you're doubting yourself, it's going to keep you where you are. You got to start with your language. A mentor of mine, his name's Roy McDonald. He turns over about $70 million a year. He talks about how your language means everything when it comes to money, when it comes to business, when it comes to your relationships, when it comes to the way that you communicate with the world around you, but not only also the world, however, it is also the way that you think internally. The way that you communicate internally is a clear representation of the way that you communicate in the world. So you must communicate differently internally to then bring it to the external. So it comes with making the unconscious thoughts that you have now conscious. And if you need a referral to somebody to help you think differently around all of this, just shoot me a DM and I'm happy to give you a few referrals of people that can help you really bring this unconscious conscious. Because there is so many areas and ways that we think, and you must change all of this in order to move forward. If you're procrastinating, it's because of the way you're thinking right now. You're most likely overthinking things, by the way. And if you're a visual person, you got to realize that you must put things on paper. It's realizing how your mind absorbs information to then bring it into actuality in the world and start implementing that. And for too many people, they are holding themselves back by not doing this correctly. Okay? So this is exactly what you must be doing. You must be changing your thought patterns. You must be changing the way that you think. You must be changing your language. If you're not changing your language, you will stay where you are. This is a clear understanding as to why people stay where they are in business, because they are using this type of language. Other people will be saying things like this: I don't have the money. I can't afford that. Right? That's too much for me. This is your language right now. So what's going to happen when you go to grow a business is you're going to go, okay, I want more clients. You're going to bring on clients and you go, that's too much for me, because that's your language. So what will happen? You'll fall back down to the lowest common denominator, which is your mind, and you'll fall back down and you'll have no clients again, because that's too much for me. I can't afford that. That's your language. So you got to eradicate this completely out of your vocabulary, which does take some time. First step is being conscious of it. So when you say that's too much for me, I can't afford that. When you say I will try, but I can do this, but, right? You got to get rid of this out of your vocabulary. But you must replace it with however. Okay? I am not where I want to be right now. However, I am working on this new strategy to be able to do that. I am working with a coach now to help me eradicate this completely out of my vocabulary and my thought pattern, so I can move forward consciously. You must bring what is unconscious to the consciousness. That's exactly what you must do. And this is what I've found over time, is that for so long, I used a lot of all of this type of language, and it just kept me where I was. So I'd get a heap of clients, and then all of a sudden, I would solve all these problems, and I wouldn't bring any more new clients in, because my thought pattern was, this is too much, I can't afford this, all this type of stuff. So until I changed all of these thought patterns, got out of saying try, got out of saying but and doubting myself, learnt how my mind really thinks and how my mind operates and how I learn, that I started then implementing things within my lifestyle and the way that I operate to be able to operate at a higher level as well. I realized I must be around people. Okay? I realized I must have other people around me to help push myself forward. I realized that I must work with other people. I enjoy working in environments with other people. That's why SERENA and I work so well together, because I run 10 miles ahead and my mind runs 10 miles ahead. I solve a problem, I move forward, I keep going, or I solve a challenge or something that we're working on. I move 10 steps ahead. SERENA's still on the one, mapping out that one thing, and she brings me back down to go, okay, this is what we're working on now. This is what we've got to understand. We've got to have all the steps in place. We've got to make it easier for everyone else to communicate and understand as well. It all starts, and that's exactly right, Veronica. It all does start, like language, words is really, really important. And that's why when I'm having conversations with business owners, right, I am listening to the way that they say things. And every conversation that you have with people on the phone will be the exact same. Your language is everything. The way that you speak, the way that you talk. Hey, Ricardo, hope you're well, bro. So you must work, you must be conscious to the way that you speak. You must be conscious to your language. You must be conscious to the way that you say things to people. Because you can quite easily influence people. You can quite easily be able to make people feel a certain way through your language. I'll give you an example. I am really disgusted with the way that you do this. Like, you're I am absolutely disgusted with you right now. I am absolutely disgusted with the way that you spoke to that person. That's one way to really make people get their back up a little bit, right? I'm absolutely disgusted with your language. So when you're saying that to someone, you're making them feel a certain way through your language. However, if somebody has used they've used some language that you don't like, right? Instead of saying that you're disgusted with it, why not say, hey, John, I really appreciate you as a person. However, I was wondering, could you not use as much of that language, please? It just doesn't feel right to me, and it's something that isn't a high value of the way I like to speak. So there's a delivery. The way that you deliver your language means everything. And if you're in arguments with your partners and people like that as well, the way that you say things can make them feel a certain way. Whereas if you switch your language up and you say it a different way, you're going to get a completely different response. So it doesn't matter whether you're communicating with people in business, doesn't matter whether you're communicating with people outside of business in your personal life, or even just the way that you're creating communication within your brain, you must change all of this. So in terms of giving you guys a bit of a formula around this, right, and how to basically be the boss of the way that you think, the way that your brain reacts, here's a bit of a process that you go through. First of all, number one is you must listen to people, and you must listen to yourself and acknowledge. So you must listen and acknowledge the way that you are thinking right now and accepting the way that you think, okay? And you've got to be listening consistently to the way that you say things to people. So for me, I'm always incredibly conscious of what I'm saying to people and how I'm saying things. So sometimes I will communicate things in a certain way and to somebody, and then realize that I may have said something articulated something not quite right. So then I'll go, my apologies. What I mean is this. That's not the right word I'm looking for. However, what I mean is this. Okay, and I will change that in my language because I'm listening and I'm acknowledging what I've said, and I'm then giving a different aspect to the way that I think and what I've said, and I'll consistently be listening to my own mind and the way that I'm saying things, and I will acknowledge that I am doing that to start with, which is the most important part. Number one is listening and acknowledging the way that you're thinking and giving and making changes. That's number one. Number two, you got to really make peace with the way that you're thinking now. Don't be hard on yourself. So many people are really, really hard on themselves about what's going on in their life and the things that they're saying and the things that are going wrong, and they're beating themselves up. So you really got to stop that to start with. There's this wicked video that I watched, and it's of this guy in this office, and he's like a psychotherapist type thing, and he says basically, I just want to give you an overview of today's session. Today's session it's going to go for 5 minutes maximum. I do 5-minute sessions. I charge $1 a minute, and anything over 5 minutes, it's free. And she goes, well, that sounds too good to be true. He says, well, I can pretty much guarantee you that it's not going to go any longer than 5 minutes. And she goes, well, okay, cool. And he sits her down, and he says to her, so what seems to be the problem today? And she goes, well, I have this constant fear of being buried alive in a box. And he goes, oh, wow, okay. Why do you have that? And she goes, I don't know. I just can't walk into rooms. I walk into elevators. I walk into houses and things like that. And all I have is this fear of being buried alive in a box. And he goes, well, that's terrible. That's absolutely terrible. I can imagine that wouldn't be nice at all. And she goes, no, it's not, because wherever I walk into enclosed spaces and things like that, all I can imagine is being, buried alive in a box. And he goes, okay, cool. Well, look, I'm going to give you something very simple. It's just 2 words today that are going to help you. And I want you to remember this as well every time you think of this. And she then goes, okay, cool. Should I write this down? And he goes, no, it's just 2 words. I'm pretty sure you will remember it. And she goes, okay, I'm ready. He goes, stop it. Stop it. So in this case, right? Stop it. Right? You gotta stop making being so hard on yourself. Stop, being hard on yourself, I'm going to say to a certain extent is good, because it will then help you get more done, etc. But you do not need to beat yourself up every single day about it, right? Acknowledge it, make peace of it all. Don't be hard on yourself. Actually then just make peace with the way you're thinking is the second thing. Number 3 is realizing that your thoughts are just thoughts. They're just thoughts. They're not even real. It's just the way you've been programmed since you were a kid. Okay? We cannot say to somebody, this is the wrong way to think. You should not be thinking like this, right? I don't understand how you've been doing it. I would never think like this. Right? You cannot say that to somebody because you have not been through their set of circumstances that brought them to that thought pattern. Everyone has their own uniqueness, and they have been brought up a certain way, and as a result of the way they've been brought up, that is the way that they are, okay? However, it doesn't have to determine how they will be in the future. So realize just your thoughts are thoughts, they're not even real. I've started having a lot of cold showers lately, and I've realized as well that the feeling that I get when I go to jump into a cold shower is just something that's been programmed into me to think that way. Because we think of cold water as this big scary thing that is going to hurt us. It's just freaking water, right? It's just water. We're not going to die in a cold shower, right? I can't understand why my brain thinks that this thing is a big, scary thing when it is not freaking scary. It's just bloody water, right? Realize that your thoughts are just thoughts. They're not even freaking real, right? And that's when it makes me, from my cycling career, I've spoken to you guys about this before. There's a barrier of pain where it doesn't become pain anymore. Once you push beyond the pain barrier, it's so hard to explain for people that literally haven't been through it. They think it's some of a trick, or it's some sort of I'm just talking of this phenomenon that's not even real, right? Pain. In my cycling, I've been through so much extreme pain, going up hills at 30, 40k an hour, steep hills, and then I'm in a rhythm where my legs just want to give up, and my brain is going, just stop, just take it easy. This is too much to take. This is why are you doing this? Rest. You're going to fall off out of exhaustion and all this type of stuff that the brain makes up. Then all of a sudden it just goes missing. I cannot it's a weird, crazy phenomenon, and you guys might be going, is that even real? Is this whatever? I'm telling you, there's a pain barrier. Once you go beyond the pain barrier, it just isn't there anymore. You do not feel it. You do not you do not think it. You're just in a completely different world. Yes, there will become a point where you'll run out of energy over and above that, right? And I've had points where I've stopped, and because my legs have been clipped into these pedals, I've just fallen over and I've gone into a shake, right? Because I've hit the protein levels. I've got no fats left in my body, no carbs left in my body, and I've just gone into the protein stores where I've just got no energy left, and I just need some sort of sugar hit to get myself back up and running again. So I used to have these glucose tablets that I used to use. I'd have these glucose tablets. And worst case scenario, even above that, I would have like a Coke, some sort of sugary type drink to just bring me back up, or a Gatorade or something, just bring me back up again. Like, it's so hard to explain the phenomenon. Realizing that your thoughts are just thoughts is just a completely different thing. And if you ask any sports person in the past that has operated at a high level, they will tell you the exact same thing. It's like your brain is just wired to a certain way that when it feels the pain or it thinks about something before you doing it, eventually it gets to a point where you don't even feel it anymore. So like the cold showers, coming back to them now, number 3, realizing that your thoughts are only thoughts. The cold showers, I realized that after the first time when I get in the shower, I'm like hesitant. However, when I get in, over a certain period of time, it feels warm. I can't it's just breaking through that barrier. Once you get through that barrier, and you push yourself through that barrier, and you've got to really push yourself through it. It takes some, controlling your mind to get through it. However, once you get through it, it's not there anymore. It's not there anymore at all. And it's pushing yourself to that level to get to that. So realizing that your thoughts are just thoughts is another point. Number 4 is observing your own mind, observing the way that you think, becoming conscious of the way you're thinking. So when you're speaking to people, when you're thinking of things in your mind, and when you're saying certain things within your language, being observant of that and the way that you say it. Because what is in your awareness you can control. The things that you do every single day you can control. The things that you're doing right now, you can control it. It's just a choice. You got to make a decision in your mind to observe it first. Observe what you're doing and how you're doing things. Remain conscious of that. Number 5, retrain your mind to rewire that brain. Okay? So when I'm speaking about try, right, as a word, you realize and you observe that try is something you use regularly, then you can retrain your brain and rewire your brain to think differently. So when you say, I will try it, you then want to correct yourself to say, I will do it. And you want to speak it out aloud, and speak it out loud 3 times. I will do this. I will do it. I am going to do XYZ. So if it's like, I will try to do a video today, if that's what your language is and that's what you've been using. I will make a video, I will do a video at 12 o'clock today. Okay, I will do a video tonight, 12 o'clock. I will do a video tonight at 5 o'clock. I'll put it and schedule it into the calendar, and I'll ensure that it's done. I will, not I will try. I will do, not I will try. Completely rechange and rewire that mind to be able to do this. Number 6, you must also practice self-compassion. Realizing that you're doing the best with the best that you possibly can with the resources that you have available to yourself right now. Okay? So when I say, making peace with your mind and the way that you feel, have some self-compassion about yourself. Be compassionate about the situation that you're in now, compassion for yourself, right? It's not all this self-love sort of stuff and everything like that and all this woo-woo shit. This is just stuff that I've managed to do over time and rewire within myself as well. And these are the steps that I've gone through with everything. And I've had mentors along the way that have helped me to be able to do this. The pain barriers, I had a coach that trained me in cycling that helped me enable myself to push past that and realize what is actually possible from the body specifically, and realize that the brain is making you think a certain thing and telling you that something is going on right now, which is making you feel that. Once you push past that, it's like there's a point where it's the point of no return, right? Where you will not feel the pain anymore until you literally drop, which has happened to me so many times. I will literally drop, before I realized that the pain was actually real. Not the pain wasn't real. Realized that I'd pushed myself to the nth of what my body can handle. Whether that was healthy, whether that not healthy, that wasn't even thought of in the time. However, you've got to realize that the brain is putting things on you right now that aren't even real. You actually have 2 to 3 to even 400% more than what you're putting out. Hey mate, hope you're doing well. So that's exactly everything today that I wanted to speak to you guys about. So it's realizing that your language is so important. The way that you're saying things at the moment are very, very important. It's what's held you to where you are today. Up-level the way you think. That is 80% of your business's growth. 80%. It's a very large percentage of what's going to get you to a whole new level. That's why millionaires, when they lose everything, they get back to a millionaire status super, super quick again. Because they've rewired their brain to that and they can do it so quickly. And it's the way that they think. It's the way that they act. More so, it's the way that they think first, because they don't overcomplicate things. They know the trajectory that they're going in, so they just follow the steps that they did in the past because it worked, right? And they learnt from the lessons in the past and realized that they can't control the things that went on in the past. They can only control the things that have gone on now. And I'll give you one really good example. The Wolf of Wall Street, Jordan Belfort, did hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars in that brokerage that he ran on Wall Street back in, was it the 90s or something like that? I can't remember the exact time when it was. However, ripped off a lot of people, insider trading and all this type of stuff he'd done in the past. Hundreds of millions went through that particular business and massive fines to pay back. He's still, like, if you look at his net worth, it's still in the minuses due to all of that type of stuff. However, you look at where he is right now, his business does millions of dollars, right? He's controlled what he can control, right? He's still probably paying back a shit ton of money, right? He's controlled what he can control because he's learnt to control his mind, and he knows what steps he had to do in order to move forward again and become what he had become in the past, but to do it ethically. Okay? So what he's done is he's gone, I've done the wrong thing. Okay? He's realized his thoughts and what he's done. He's observed his own mind over time. He has practiced self-compassion. He hasn't beaten himself up for everything that he's done in the past. He would have beaten himself up for a while and on what he'd done and felt sorry for himself and all that type of stuff. But he pulled himself out of that. He practiced self-compassion. He made peace with what had happened in the past to himself. He realized that his thoughts were just thoughts. He actually realized and retrained his brain to go and be more, the word that I'm looking for is, I'll think of the word I'm looking for. So he's practiced, he's practiced and rewired his brain to think differently, and he's gone, okay, what skills do I have? Okay, I was a very good salesperson from that. I was really good at selling and getting people into my vision and purpose and mission and all this type of stuff. I'm really good at selling. He reinvented himself to a sales expert, now runs a very successful sales coaching and consulting business for small to large corporations, and even salespeople, training them then in the art of his straight line sales process. So, somebody who's come from and created astronomical success, gone to jail and done heaps of, as a result of all the insider trading and everything that he's done, right? Then all of a sudden, he's got a right to be able to beat himself up and all that type of stuff over many years, or to want to kill himself or anything like that, right? He's got, because he's gone from something incredibly successful from doing it the wrong way, and he's now reinvented himself and controlled what he can control, which has then brought him to where he is today. And I don't know what his company's doing at the moment, but I would say it would have to be doing at least between 3 to 5 million plus per year, which is a pretty successful company, So So all of you can do the exact same thing. You just got to you got to work on and become conscious around what I've been speaking about today. And all it is literally fixing your language in the way that you are speaking to yourself consciously and unconsciously today. Some of the words to recap is try. If you're using try a lot, delete that straight away. Become conscious that you're using the word try for starters, and then delete it. It's going to take you some time to fully delete it out of your vocabulary. I'm still working on that. I do say that sometimes as well. However, I correct myself. The second one is but. Not using but and contradicting yourself when you're speaking to people. So something quite simple is saying, yeah, but, right? Delete but out of your vocabulary. So there will be some points that you will use but in your conversations every now and then, but it's like, but, right? I just use but. It's about deleting it from certain conversations. That's all it is. So if you're moving in a positive direction with a sentence, like, yes, okay, I understand that, but that's where you want to delete it. So when you're moving in a positive direction with your language, deleting but out of that positive direction of your sequence of language, and replacing but with however, right? However. If you speak to millionaires and you speak to people that are incredibly successful from a wealth creation perspective and money and all that type of stuff, that is a massive deletion out of theirs. They do not use but throughout everything. They use however a lot. So that's, I don't know how many, I'm unsure as to how many that is now. However, try, but you want to also delete I don't have the money. You want to delete, I'll think about it. You want to delete, you want to start making your own decisions and not have to speak to people all the time about your decisions. You want to make your own decisions. You are a grown-up person and can make your own decisions. You want to take out of the fact of, I can't afford that. All this type of language, can't, is once again something that will hold you back from where you are. You must train your mind to be more resourceful. And it can be, instead of saying, I don't have the money, I can't do this, I can't make this happen, this is not my skill set, I do not understand this, all of this sort of stuff, once again holding you back. How can I learn this? Say yes more often to things. Say yes more often to things. Work out the details later. The things that you do not understand at this stage are the exact things that you must understand, especially around money, business, system, strategy. You must understand all of this, right? And bring this as a skill set to be able to move yourself forward. You look at the most successful people in the world, right? Steve Jobs, all these people, they are educated people. You might say, I am not Steve Jobs. No, you are not Steve Jobs. However, you must still understand, for him, if he goes into a meeting and he doesn't understand something, he wants to learn everything that he possibly can about it before going in. He wants to be educated. So in business, you must be and have a skill set and be educated around money, reading tax returns, profit, loss, revenue, what's an add back, what's not an add back, what's the difference between profit and revenue. You must also understand marketing. You must also understand sales, how to close deals. You must also understand systems. You must understand automations. You must understand all of this still, okay? Whether you're the person that implements it or not the person that implements it, you must still understand the concepts. You must understand what works, what doesn't work for your business, and you must be open to new strategies in order to move forward. If you are using language around I can't, it's not, I don't, I am not tech savvy, all this type of stuff, I was never tech savvy. You must still understand all of this and use and retrain your brain to help understand this. There is a point where everyone doesn't understand it. We just brought on a new system for our business to be able to serve our clients, which automates absolutely everything that we implemented. We still do not fully understand it. There's elements of it I am still learning. I don't understand it at this stage, at the moment. However, I really will eventually, okay? It can be a little confusing from time to time. However, it'll eventually just become second nature. You do it a few times, you start getting used to it, eventually you will become a master of that. I was never a good salesperson in the past. When I first started in sales, I was horrible. However, 13 years later, tens of thousands of calls, tens of thousands of hours on calls, cold calling, speaking to new people in various different industries, I eventually got the gift of the gab, selling ice to Eskimos, whatever you guys want to call it, become a ninja at doing it, right? That people don't even know that I'm selling and I'm selling, right? All of that I learned over 13 years. And if you guys do the exact same thing, what's going to happen? You are going to be the exact same. The exact same. I never understood marketing. I never understood Facebook. I never understood the ads manager, the business manager, where the payments part of it is, where the billing part of it is, what happens to my landing page when they go 404 error, why my emails aren't firing off on the back end, why sequences aren't triggering when I place that trigger. I didn't understand all of this to start with. However, over time, it became second nature, and now I can do it with my eyes closed. I never used to be able to type on my computer and not look at all the little keys while I'm typing. However, tens of thousands of hours of using a computer, tens of thousands of hours spent on a computer now, I can now type and look at you guys at the same time. I can do the same thing on my mobile when I am writing someone a message on Messenger. I can type a whole conversation not even looking at my phone now. I'm not saying all of this to impress you in any way, shape or form. All I'm doing it is to impress upon you the fact that if someone that failed English, failed maths, failed year 12, was never tech savvy, was never a marketer, was never a salesperson, was never a business owner, never understood finances, never ever had a successful person in my family that knew how to understand profit and loss sheets, revenue sheets, all this type of stuff. If I can do it, you can do it. If my language was like all of this in the past and I was able to change a lot of it, guess who can also do it? You. All you got to do is change your language, and that's it for today. Comment below if you found this valuable in some way, shape, or form. Just comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know what you guys have thought of today's show, and just list down what are the things that you're going to work on. What are the things that you are going to work on after this? And how are you going to up-level the way you think? Because 80% of all of your business growth is going to be down to the way you think and the way you speak and the things that you say. Because you can do all of this if I can. A lot of people might even say, Jarrod, you're heaps younger than me, and Jarrod, you've grown up around all of this. Once again, that's a thought pattern. All you got to do is just think a little bit differently. I didn't actually grow up around mobile phones. I got introduced to mobile phones the same time as a lot of people that are 10, 15, 20 years above me. Introduced at the exact same time. And even those people had mobile phones before me. I can say that for a fact because I have conversations with people about it. When did you get your first phone? I got it, in 1999. Well, I didn't get my first one until about 2005. So you had so many years ahead of me. Anyway, that's it for today. Remember one thing, if you don't not fight for your own freedom, absolutely nobody else will. So every single day you must get out there, take action, make it happen. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 12 o'clock Perth, Western Australia time for the next show. Speak soon.